Hey guys, how is everyone doing? Shout out to everyone on the chat. Velvet Pixies here. How is everyone doing? I know I'm kind of coming in a little bit late, but wanted to make sure everything got situated the way I needed to. This is going to be a really quick live just to talk about this complaint that was submitted, I believe, yesterday regarding the Travis Scott Astro World, everything that's gone down with that, the tragedy, the victims. It sounds like we have more victims that are being accounted for as well, that we don't have the full scope as far as numbers. Yes, yes. Barbie's in the house. Fun to be blonde. We have Dukes. Hope everybody's doing okay. Marie is here. Um, Marie is here. Let's see who else. Let me feel like I can't really see everybody. Okay, now I see. Sorry guys, I'm going blind. Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. It'll be a really quick live. So I have the complaint, okay? Now this complaint is regarding Rudy Pena. Sorry about that. I don't want to mess up his name. He was a victim, and so the family is real quick to seek justice, and wanting to understand because this was a young man. He's 23 years old and they want to know what happened, right? They want to know what happened. He was the youngest of five siblings, okay? And he was the calmest, the most playful. He was the sweetest and with everyone. And so a lot of people are describing him as a really, great young man, right? He was just starting out his life. He was a medical assistant, and his majors in criminal justice. Was one of the 8 who died during the mass casualty at the Travis Scott Astro World Festival on Friday. Okay. And so the day after the tragedy, I guess his brother and they were talking, so they are Spanish speaking. They talked to People magazine as far as how they found out the information and everything that came about it. It was just I guess they found out around 12:30 last night, and this was so the tragedy happened Friday. So 12:30 last night from a friend of Ruby that was with him that he had just passed out. And it wasn't until the afternoon that they found out that he had died. So yeah, very, very sad situation and very tragic. Again, he's the youngest of five, and the family's originally from Durango, Mexico. So obviously they're very, very much heartbroken. Okay, very young man, a huge, huge loss to this family. Absolutely. So shout out to everyone if you're just joining us. So we have a copy of this little complaint. It is not the best quality, but we're going to go through it as best as we can. It's a 7-page complaint that was submitted to the, I believe it was the Harrison County Court off of in Texas. Okay. And so this is on behalf of the mom from the Rudy Pena estate. All right. And so then you could see Travis's name, okay, and then his real legal name is there as well as his record studio, Cactus Jack Records, Scoremore LLC, and as well as the convention center that Astroworld is at, which would make sense, right? Because they're going to go in there civilly and they're going to sue. You have to sue everything that you feel like is liable. I mean, I'm surprised that they don't have the whole city there, right? Because there's just so much that's coming about this situation as far as the fires, the marshals, what they permitted, how many people were actually supposed to be there, who wasn't supposed to be there, what's the max number, were the following, if any, did the city have any COVID-19 guidance or protocol? Those are questions that we need to know because I believe they had over 50K in that whole area. And clearly, you guys know that no one was practicing any type of social distancing practices or whatever, whatever, right? Like I'm pretty sure, and it's a very young crowd. A lot of kids were there as well. Yeah. And it talks Baby Girl feels like they were in a rush to file a suit, which is not a good call on their part. And I wonder if somebody was seeking out the family for them to file, and I would have to agree with that because I feel like they haven't even finished the investigation quite yet for them to hurry up and file. I'm a little worried about that, to be quite honest with you guys, because where they're at is they're asking for $1 million, and honestly, I feel like they're selling themselves short, to be quite honest. And I'm not to say that there should be more, but we really don't know the investigation quite yet. They need to wait a little bit before, and that's just my opinion. Okay, I don't know if this means that they didn't have enough for maybe the services, the funeral arrangements, like where their mind is at. I don't know. Texas has no COVID protocols. Oh, see, you guys see that? So, I mean, this is concerning, guys, because we haven't controlled the virus quite yet. I think that we're getting there, but uh, we're not there yet. So we start with this complaint, okay? And we're telling you right now who all it's included. Mom, from what I understand, her name is Maria D. Pena, okay? And from there, they're listing out the LLCs for Travis Scott legal name, as well as what is it, the convention center, the county sports corporation, and they refer them as HCSCC, okay? Or we can just refer them as defendants. All right. So discovery control plan. All right. So plaintiff requests the discovery be conducted under level 3 pursuant to the Texas rules of civil procedure. All right. And as we go down, we look at the civil procedure rules. Okay. So they're requesting a monetary relief of $1 million for their client, including damages of any kind, costs, prejudgment, interest, attorney fees, and indicate their clients will rely on jury to ultimately decide the appropriate amount of damages based on the evidence presented at trial. All right. So how we have to look at a complaint, it's the allegations that are being made. Whatever they're saying that they have enough, then they're going to present that, and we're going to look at that, right? Um, Obviously, the venue and jurisdiction is going to be in Texas. Okay, that's where everything was at the event, Astroworld, and so all of that we know, and we can determine that it's going to fall in those headquarters in that jurisdiction in the state of Texas. All right, so let's talk about these parties. So we have the resident of Texas can be reached by and through undersigned attorneys. We have the defendants. Okay, so they are saying that it's the Scoremore LLC. Okay, and they conduct their business there as well in the state of Texas. Petitions and citations by and through its registered agent for the following services, such as Stone. Okay, it requests that a citation be prepared so service can be perfected on a defendant by a private processor. All right. We have the Cactus Jack Records LLC is a Texas limited liability and LLC with its headquarters in Travis County, Texas, and it conducts business um, with substantiated profits from business dealings through the state of Texas. Okay. All right. So from here, we also have the defendant listed as County Sports and Convention Center Corporation is a Texas corporation with headquarters at Harrison County. So they've listed the counties. Harrison County, all right. They're gonna. I mean, that would make sense to kind of go after them as well. But again, I feel like, and I go back to what It's Hawk's baby girl is saying, it's a little bit too rushed. We really, really, really have to wait. Now, this kind of concerns me because I feel like that some of these attorneys might have jumped to the family in the midst of this tragedy to hurry up and pick up a case. I really hope that that's not the situation. I just feel like the investigation hasn't been quite done. A good attorney would advise them, hey, let's wait this out. Why would you file a petition when the tragedy happened on Friday and we're on Tuesday? It hasn't been a week. We haven't given them the appropriate time to investigate. So I go back to that a little bit. It does concern me a little bit for that. I don't know. I don't know, which is sad. They should move it out of Texas and have it on the plaintiff's jurisdiction. Huh? Because of the Abbott there is at max and they can sue for see? See. Okay. Well, let's keep it going. So then from here on out, we have I believe Travis Scott's name is Jack. Is it Jaque? I want to say it in Spanish, but it's not how you say it. Jax Webster. Is that how you guys would say it? Jaque Webster. You guys let me know. You guys let me know. But it's also known as Travis Scott. Okay. He is an individual with residence and voter registration for Harris County, Texas. All right. He conducts business and receives substantial profits from business dealings in the state of Texas. Okay. He can be served at the original site. We have an address there where he can be served. It is requested that a citation be prepared so the services can be perfected on defendant's private processor. Okay, by defendant's private processor. Rudy Pena died interstate with little or no assets and with little or no debts to his estate. At this time, no administration of his estate is needed, and there is no administration pending. It appears that only matter with regards to the estate will be prosecuting the survival claims herein or on behalf of the estate. His mother brings the survival claims on behalf of any hair, excuse me, can't even read, hair or in his estate. Okay, so I, hmm, young guy, 23, 23. Okay, so little to no debt. I mean, if I've been 23 before, I had little to no debt. So kind of hard. I don't know if he held a job. I don't know if there's any kind of like SSI survivor benefits, things like that, right? Did he have any children? We don't really know that. It doesn't sound like he had any children or but very young guy, was going to school, studying criminal justice. He was a medical assistant, so whatever revenue came out of him working, I mean, it would make sense. He was the youngest of five. Okay, very, very, very sad, as we have learned. And so then he just, I mean, it sounds like the family is really wanting to make sense out of this situation, right? And now they're having to bury a very young man, right? Starting out his life. It's pretty sad. So the incident in question, on or about November 5th, 2021, a tragedy occurred during the Astro Festival, okay, at the Houston Park in Texas. Prior to the show, by performer Travis Scott, some concertgoers breached a security gate around the park and stampede into the premises, trampling each other. During the show, attendees rushed the stage, and ultimately, there were numerous more trampolines and patrons' bodies compressed against one another, causing them to gasp for air, with many dropping on the floor, losing consciousness. Along with at least 7 others, Rudy Pena was killed, and there are reports of more than 300 injured. Ah, hmm. I don't, I feel like there's probably more details that we just don't know, that this is just kind of touching the very, very much surface level. Barbie says, get their law firm name out there quickly so other victims will know who to call. Shady. We have a law firm name as well. I'm like, they really jumped at, because there's a celebrity name to it, guys. That's why. Celebrity name. So we know what the intent is here. I mean, I just feel like it is a little too quick. That's just my opinion. I feel like they needed to wait. I don't know. Huh, that's an interesting comment. It's French, yeah. Hux, Jacques. I don't know. Travis Scott's real name. I gotta practice it, guys. I do not know French. I do not know French. Welcome, Jennifer. Awesome. Glad you made it. So yeah, it is incredibly sad. And but here's what Valerie makes a point. Well, early bird gets the worm. Do you really think? Yeah. But see, I just don't think that they're done with the investigation. So then it continues. All right. So then the convention center manages and operates the venue in question. Scoremore is an event promoter, and Cactus Jack is a label that assists with the management and operations of the concert. Scott was the performer that incited the crowds into the mayhem. All of their inactions are direct cause of the incident in question. Ooh. So, okay. Pretty, I mean, that last sentence right there, I was like, okay, so all of their actions and inactions are direct causes of the incidents in question. So Scott incited the crowds into mayhem. Now, if you guys remember yesterday, we were watching what is it, that little clip, okay? And one of the guys said, hey, I've gone to a Travis Scott concert. Like, it's expected it's going to get rowdy. It's going to get loud. You're going to see all kinds of stuff, whatever, right? But this was the guy that was speaking on that. He said that was the worst he had ever seen it. So should we expect injuries during these concerts? Right. And this is what I'm saying. Why wasn't the city of Houston included into this as well? The security company, the city of, I love that you said that. It talks, baby girl. The security company, the city of Houston, right? Where where is the convention at? That's a good point. I'm so glad you pointed that out. Thank you. It is. Awesome. No, they are indirectly the cause. Right. So then the sentence right there, all of their inactions are direct causes of the incident in question. All right, so then it keeps going. Negligence. The defendants are liable for the injury and death of Rudy Pena. They knew or should have known that the aforementioned conditions were unsafe and presented an unreasonable risk of harm to the concertgoers. Despite the hazards, they let the show go on. They had a duty to exercise reasonable care to ensure the safety of those attending the concert. They breached their duties, which resulted in the untimely death of Rudy Pena. The breach includes, but are not limited to, failing to provide a safe environment for concertgoers, okay, failing to perform concert operations in a safe, reasonable, and prudent manner, all right, failing to remedy known safety hazards. Oh, okay. Let's see what else. And I'm going to pull out my tort outline real quick. Failing to provide adequate security personnel, failing to provide properly trained and experienced concert personnel, failing to provide adequate medical personnel. Okay. Failing to provide properly trained and experienced concert personnel. All right, medical personnel, violating industry standards and best practices for safe concerts and concert operations, concert ingress and egress, and concert crowded controls. Failing to use ordinary care of reasonable company and or person would under the same or similar circumstances. Okay. And let's see. Creating hazardous conditions and failing to prevent injury to others and overselling of the event for more profits. Did the event oversell? Do we know that for a fact? Um, do we know that for a fact that the event oversold? Does anybody know this? Exactly. Look at it talks me. Listen. Baby girl. She's like, are they idiots in here writing that? I'm just I'm just trying to understand, okay? Like I'm reading it as they're writing it. I'm like, okay. Hmm. Hmm. So I'm just kind of wondering, unforeseeable injuries. Okay, now I don't have the code here for Texas or anything like that. I'm just looking to see exactly kind of where to pinpoint what are we seeing here. So clearly there was a failure of a lot of stuff, right? But I don't know, and I'm just laughing because I'm thinking in my mind, well, do we have enough to say that all of this is actually accurate? Yeah, and I did. Yeah, I heard that there was so many people there, right? We all saw it. But I'm just wondering, did they oversell the event for more profit? Do we know that? Like, but then again, how much is the venue supposed to hold? And this is an outside venue. This isn't like indoor concert, when you think of all these indoor venues, right? And even then, I feel like there was pyrotechnical things going on. We have an idea of what happened. Okay, we have an idea. It sounded like there was a huge stampede. People were killed. Okay, stampede. Like I can only imagine the tragedy in here. But there's definitely a failure. I hear the failure. I just don't know if we got the right people on this petition. Okay, it should have been the city. There's something about the fire department. I don't know if it necessarily solely falls on Travis Scott. And I'm just gonna put that out there. And I don't listen to his music, guys, so I'm a little outdated on that. But I do know that he gives that like, what is it? Anything goes vibe in his music. I don't know. All right, gross negligence. Conduct involved. The defendant's conduct, involved an extreme risk of danger and injury to the public. The conduct through one or more individuals, principals, agents, servants, and or employees showed a complete absence of care, an obvious consciousness indifference to the rights, safety, or welfare of the deceased and the public. Okay. Damages. See, and this is the part that I was like, okay, let's get to the damages. So Rudy Pena, mother, acts in this lawsuit as the personal representative of his estate. She brings this lawsuit in part on behalf of the estate for all those damages recoverable under the survival statute of the state of Texas. These damages sought include but are not necessarily limited to funeral expenses, mental anguish, pain suffered by Rudy Pena just prior to his death. The value of all this damage is the amount of excess of the minimum jurisdictional limit of the court. Rudy Peña's mother, all right, as a result of her boy's death, Rudy's mother seeks to recover all of those damages. Direct, inconsequential, procure and non-procure as allowed by the law, including but not limited to suffering, grief, mental anguish, pain, sorrow, as well as the loss of his affection. Okay. Said damages will continue into the future. The past and present value of these damages is an amount in excess of the minimum jurisdictional limits of the court. Punitive damages. Okay, so the estate is entitled to punitive damages for the gross negligence and or acts that constitute malice of the defendant. Okay, plaintiff requests a jury trial and tenders the appropriate fee. Okay, so jury trial, that's what they're wanting. And that's that. It's about 7 pages overall, not too crazy, but I think that we're missing something here. Yeah, and that was my question too. Why isn't it intentional emotional distress as well? It seems to me that we're missing something here. Okay, well, we're missing a lot of things. All right, first of all, we need to know that whole concert piece really got to me because we don't really know what the revenue was from the event. We don't know how much I mean, what were the tickets? Can anybody tell me out of a guess who and what were the tickets? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is just really creepy. The whole event was just really like I saw some of the pictures, right? Where it looked like he was eating people up. I'm like, is that supposed to be, I don't know, very symbolic. Yeah. Yeah, I would be angry as well. 33.3%. I think that this is a really quick file. Um, and I'm just curious to know if, like, they need to let the investigation be done before they file and even name an amount. I don't know. Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering what the tickets were per person. You got to think about it that way, right? Then you got to think about, well, it's one thing to put all these Travis Scott in the venue, but then you have to put the city there as well. I mean, there's just so much. And then the fire department, I think that the fire chief, okay, had said something to the effect of they had warned Travis Scott or something like that 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 there was some concerns prior to this venue. There was some other stuff going on, which typically tends to happen when we find out about stuff like this. There's usually somebody else that might have said, it's there's a lot of stuff that happens leading up to this, right? I don't know. Look at this. So almost $300, and that's not including tax, because I'm thinking that there's like a tax, maybe a city tax or something that goes into this. So about $300. I'm rounding up, okay? $300 for general admission, and we had about 50 to 70K people in this concert? What? What? Huh. That's crazy. Okay. And then again, they also had VIP. The city's doing damage control. They're hoping that nobody will sue. Shh. I don't know, man. I would sue the crap out of everybody. Everybody. Everyone. Then you had, I believe, security. Oh my God, no way. I heard that one girl spent VIP ticket for like $700. $700? Oh my God, guys. That's crazy. That is crazy. So I think it's a little too quick for them to file, and I'm wondering if they're filing out of desperation. They're filing kind of like, I don't know if the attorneys reached out to them. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What do you guys think? No way. So the water bottles, water was $7 a bottle, and apparently alcohol was cheaper than the water bottles. I'm not surprised though. I think they do that on purpose. They make some, like when if you go out, and you are drinking, right? The intention is that you're going to get so drunk that eventually you'll spend as much more, the much more that you would if you were sober, you know? So yeah, they're going to make water more expensive than they would alcohol. I've seen that happen in a couple venues. Yeah, right. Fire and Safety Life owns this too. That's right. That's right. It is crazy. It is welcome. It is crazy how this happened. Now, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty normal. So, anytime you go to a venue, okay, just know that your water is always going to be more expensive than your alcohol. That's just a given, guys. That's just how it is. Because they want to get you more drunk than they do want to get you sober. I don't know. But and I find it so interesting. I mean, you had really young kids here. I have a hard time, and maybe I've shared this before, when I have to cover kids stuff because it's like I don't want anybody to get hurt, right? Like that just kind of gets to me. Anything when it comes to children is just not my thing. But anyways, wanted to share with you guys this little, complaint that we have. I do believe that it's a little too quick. I think that this family might be taken advantage of just because they see the name of Travis Scott. They see the record companies, the LLCs, and then they see the venue name. I think people are trying to jump into this. Anytime there's a celebrity name attached to this, people are wanting to go, and especially these attorneys, they're looking for a quick buck. $1 million. They're asking for $1 million. I'm like, I think they're selling themselves very short. I think they need to wait until the investigation is done. I don't believe that this is an issue of who can get to the petition first or who should file. It's too quick. I feel like they might be settling way too quick. And when you put an amount, that's just my thoughts, my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the chat about what all this. And again, this was just going to be a really quick live to kind of bring this little, attention to this complaint from the Pena family. Again, this is regarding Rudy Pena, one of the victims. Okay, mom's name is Maria Pena. Her article is out there. Really good. It's a huge loss. Okay, young kid, young criminal justice CG student. Definitely, there's no cap in that state. Okay, well, good to know. Good to know that. Um, that's why I was like, I think that they're $1 million. I don't know. I mean, it sucks, baby girl. Don't you think they need to wait a little bit more? Don't you think that they need to wait a little bit more? That's just my opinion. I feel like they need to wait until all parties that should be involved in this lawsuit are named, and that way they can go after the appropriate people, right? Yeah. I mean, right? I don't know. So I feel like it's a little too quick. Just my opinion. I think that we have some time before we go after people, right? Because I don't know if all the people, all the parties there are actually included. Just a thought. At least a week. At least until the investigation gets done. Let the fire department, let the chief, let all these, people that handle these investigations do what they have to do, or they need to mend their suit and include everyone, right? Like a class action, something bigger. Um, because I would imagine that there'd be other people that are going to be included in this. You still have people in the hospital. I think this claim, what is it? The complaint names at least 300 injuries. 300 people injured, guys. This is huge. Okay, this is a tragedy. It's very scary, and I don't know. Yeah, who in the insurance company as well? We have to include them as well. I feel like they're selling themselves very short if they move forward with this right now. Just my thought. Yeah, just my thought. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us. This was going to be a little quick live just to talk about this little complaint. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day because guess what? We're out.